of the world. They say it's just Mexicans because we're poor. No, you got Chinese coming across, Africans, Europeans, Asians, everybody trying to come across to this country. Then they say we're in decline. That's the most recent thing. America's in decline. But then when you go overseas, who's trying to get into any other country the way they're trying to get here to America? You know, they say China's a great country. Maybe so. They make a lot of stuff over there. They got a lot of chips and whatnot. But nobody's trying to sneak into the southern border of China. Not the same way they're doing over here. It's a lot of Chinese trying to come over here. It's a lot of everybody trying to come over here. And the reason why is because we're a great country. And the main thing is about the American dream, to be specific. You can come here and be whatever you want to be. It doesn't really matter what your color is, what your gender identity, makes no difference. Not at all. They say, again, going back to what thing about being homophobic and whatnot, you can really do whatever you want in this country. The freedom is crazy, and it might be a little bit too much freedom, because I was seeing some things at some of the pride marches. It's like, all right, you know, we're doing a little bit too much. But hey, you go to certain countries around the world, and they got a tall building for you. Not advocating for it, but that's what they do. You can come here to be more free. You can be more open to be who you are. So that's why America is such a beautiful place to be. But going back to the border, everybody wants to be here. Everybody wants to be one of us. Everybody wants to call themselves an American. When I speak to people that come here legally, legal immigrants, especially like African immigrants, I think I was in El Paso a few years ago, and it was another speaking engagement, and it was a Nigerian guy. And I was like, hey, where are you from? I didn't know at the time. Like, where are you from? He's like, I'm from El Paso. But I'm hearing an African accent. I'm like, nah, but where are you from? Oh, Nigeria. They're not even thinking about being African or being, no, I'm an American now. I got my passport, I got my citizenship. I'm here now. I'm taking advantage of it. I don't resent this country. I love this country. And that's the reason why everybody wants to come here. Everybody wants to be somebody. Going back to the southern border, a lot of the people, you got a lot of criminals and whatnot coming across, drugs, guns, cartel, you have that going on, but also people that just want to come here and make money, send it back to their family, send it back to their friends, and then get everybody over here to do the exact same thing. Because in their country, they don't have the same amount of freedom to do whatever they want. They can't just start a business. You go to China and say, hey, you know what, I want to start a business. I don't want to have the government involved. No, you have the government right there on your board. It's just like with TikTok. You know, they say that's it's an independent company. No, the Chinese Communist Party right there on your board, and they're going to dictate certain things. But here, you can do whatever. Start your own business, be independent, make your own money, and that's what a lot of us want to fight for. We want to fight for the American dream, to keep a lot of your money, not get taxed to death. That's what we love in this country. So it's a beautiful place to be. I'm privileged to be here. You know, they talk about white privilege, black privilege. That doesn't exist. Everything's racist. To be an American, you got the craziest benefits ever. I saw one of those caravans coming to the border. And you know how there's like a lot of people, a lot of chaos, a lot of madness. It'd be pregnant women just flooding it. There was one situation where a pregnant lady was laying on the flatbed coming across, trying to get in. People felt sorry for her, like, oh, she's pregnant. It's like, nah, she's trying to hop that border. As soon as the convoy stopped, she hopped across like it was a hurdle on the track meet. It's like, I'm dropping that baby right now. And that's what she did. And as soon as that baby came out, here comes a husband, here comes a 4-year-old boy, you got a family of 4 just like that. It's like, wow, okay, America must be nice. It must be to come over there, taking that kind of risk, going in the Rio Grande. You know, they put a reservoir now in the Rio Grande to keep people coming from the water into the country. They camping out right there. It's like, hey man, y'all move the wire, we're coming in. We're gonna get some search, we're gonna get something. They're gonna do a lot to get into the country. Now, am I saying that it's right to come in here illegally? No. But that tells you the length people will go to get to this country. The best country on planet Earth. When I say stuff like that in certain communities, we're the best country, I get met with some heckling. It's like, nah, we're not the best, we suck. It's like, really? Going back to the 2016 election, when Trump first got elected, remember? The celebrity said, if Trump gets elected, we're going to Canada. First of all, that's racist. Why do you want to go to Mexico? Why do you want to go to Jamaica? You want to go to Canada? Like, what's going on with that? But nobody left. Everybody stayed.
True.
Everybody stayed because they know, I mean, come on. The most you're gonna do is move from California to Florida, from California to Texas, Arizona, from LA to Phoenix. You're not going any other country. Why? For what? I'm not trying to go to the cold. I'm not trying to be up there with the mountains. I'm trying to be right here, sun and fun, living the American dream, having the freedom. That's what we all want. That's what everybody needs in the world. That's why everybody wants to come here. I'll show you some of these scams. Y'all watch that show? What's the name of that show? 90 Day Fiancé. Y'all familiar with that?
Yep.
Oh man, they go through the most. They go through the most to get here, and then the person is like, "Oh, they love me. Really? Do they love you for real?" This Nigerian guy, 25 years old, 65 years old, he loves you. Okay, that's fine. He wants that green card. He'll talk to you for years to do whatever. He'll do whatever it takes to get over here to the country. And hey, at a certain point, it's like, if you're doing that legally, I can't necessarily blame you. Is it right? No, but again, I understand why it happens. This is the best country on planet Earth. And then going back to the freedom bit, you know, I like to be able to move around and kind of live life how I want and not have so much restriction on me. You know, that's a really good thing. The C-19 pandemic kind of weakened some of that for me. But certain states in the country kept that freedom. Florida at a certain point said, no, we're not going to do this, we're going to open up. Now, you go to China, did y'all see some of those videos where you be in your house and they would solder, they would, literally weld you in your house? Yeah, remember that? I was like, ain't no freedom there. Now, we got crazy over here in the States with the lack of freedom during the C-19, China virus, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. We got crazy. The lines on the ground at the grocery store, okay, that was a ridiculous thing. I saw where they were taking the rims off of basketball hoops, or they were putting boards on them. It's like, okay, you got a ladder and went up to the rim and put some boards on it. Why? Why did you do that? What was the purpose? We got crazy. And it was one situation, I was talking about that earlier, just right now. There was a guy on the beach, there was nobody around, middle of the daytime, nobody on the beach. And then the police approached him like, hey, sir, you can't do that. It's like, come on, man. Like, are we in America or what? You know, but again, a lot of us got crazy during that time. People got scared, mainstream media, but not a lot of the politicians trying to make us live in fear. But a lot of states did not go that direction. They wanted to have the American freedom, the American dream. And those states are the ones that did well. Florida, everybody wants to go to Florida now. Everybody in the world wants to go to Florida. But back then, some of the same people that are now going to Florida from California, New York, Illinois, etc. Oh, Ron DeSantis, they call him. Ron DeSantis, because you want to keep your state wide open. Now we know that a lot of the things you did about the virus didn't make any difference. The cloth mask, you got the deadliest virus in history, the deadliest virus ever, and that t-shirt on your face is going to cover you up. It makes no sense, right? We knew that from the beginning. The whole thing with the vaccine, that didn't work out very well. And a lot of the companies that didn't have the mandate, states with no mandates, they're doing the best. If you just rely on the American dream, the American freedom, you'll be better, you'll be better off. And that's the whole reason why we're so great as a country. Other parts of the world, when they rely upon communism, socialism, it gets rough. Venezuela right now, it's bad. You got a lot of dictators in office trying to put communism and socialism. They start to starve to death. They're eating animals from the zoo. They're doing whatever they can to be able to get by. And they had plenty of money. They had oil. They had a nice economy. But when you run by people that don't really believe in the freedom, that don't really believe in being able to have people be innovative and do different things, you're going to get what you get. Again, everybody wants to come here because we have that. Countries that don't embrace that don't do as well as us. And the ones that do kind of well, like China, are dependent upon us. If for no USA, there wouldn't be no China. Everything they do is dependent upon us. If all of a sudden we say, you know what, we're not going to buy any more Chinese garbage, any more iPhones, nothing like that from them, they're toast. Now, at a certain point, we did that to ourselves too. We let them manufacture everything. So if we brought that back like we had before, like we built the whole country on, we'd be better off. We've done it before, we can do it again. The best country in the world. Now, I'm going to get to me a little bit, And y'all might not know who I am. Y'all might not know where I come from, really. But I was born in a place called Grand, West Virginia. Y'all know about West Virginia? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay. You know about Randy Moss, Grand University? No? Okay.
Oh yeah, Randy Moss.
Okay, you know about Randy Moss. Randy Moss, one of the Hall of Fame football players. Just where he's from. It's a documentary right now on ESPN called Grand University. This is one of the poorest places in the nation. And when I say this, I'm not going to try to be offensive. My family's still out there. I love Grand, beautiful people. I'm not trying to say that. I'm talking about one of the poorest places in the Union by far. Next to like Indian reservations. Very, very poor. Okay. When I was born, my dad had a single wide trailer on some land, and then when we came to Virginia, we literally came around the mountain. We came down the mountain.
Yes.
We came down the mountain in the trailer. That was how I came into the world. They're like, really, you a black guy in West Virginia in the trailer? Yeah, that was me. As a little kid, I sure was. It's a picture of my parents when they were really young. My parents got married at age 18 to 21 in my grandmother's front yard in West Virginia. My dad said when they got married, he was seeing guys come back when the bicycle was waving at them. Like that kind of country. It's a picture of them. They look just completely country. That's where I came from. No money, very poor. My dad worked at a hardware store. My mom didn't work. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because coming to Virginia, I'm doing well, very well for myself, homeowner myself. Thank you,
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes.
to be able to come from that, it means a lot. From like absolute poverty to where I am now. And then when I came from West Virginia with my family, we came down the mountain in the trailer straight to the hood. We went from the country, like 1,000 people, no stoplights, no stop signs, dogs running around, community dogs, no leashes. You could just be walking and dogs right next to you. You could just be petting them just fine. You came from that straight to Newport News, Virginia, right in the ghetto, in the trailer park. Moved around quite a bit. Friends of mine got shot, killed when I was a kid. A friend of mine did 12 years in the penitentiary. He got beat in the head by a crackhead when he was out there selling drugs. I lived all types of lives. I've seen everything, right? But I was never really into that. Because I knew at an early age, you know what, I'm in America. I got opportunity around me. I can get into these books. I can get into the education. I could do things that way, and then I could become successful. I don't have to be what somebody says I should be, or a statistic. I can make my own life be for myself. So that's what I did. And when people say, oh, well, you're black, you can't do X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, it's like, well, last I checked, I thought I was an American. That's what I thought. All that color stuff, what's that got to do with it? I thought I was an American citizen. I thought I had the ability to do whatever I wanted to do. I don't really understand this whole thing about you can't wait. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me I can't be anything. I refuse to accept that. Now, thank you. I spoke to a friend of mine from Africa because the American dream is unique to America. You can't do it everywhere. I wish we could do it everywhere, but you can't. A friend of mine from Africa, from East Africa, says that you see these commercials with the kids and they got the bellies out. It's because they have worms. They're eating from the garbage because if they don't eat from the garbage, they're going to starve to death. That's how bad it is over there. Now, we got some poverty here in America. We got some bad neighborhoods, some crime and whatnot, some violence, but I never seen anybody eat from a garbage can. I never seen children eat from a garbage can or they gonna starve to death. We got a lot of money here, a lot of opportunity here, a lot of wealth here that people take for granted. They don't understand. They don't really get it. And then going back to my African friends, she also told me that most people are not gonna make it out. Most people are gonna stay right there forever in their whole life. They're gonna, half of the country at best is gonna be right there forever. It's very difficult to become anybody of success from certain parts of the world. Now, here in America, that's just not it. You can come from where I came from. Again, Grand, West Virginia, one of the poorest places. The per capita income is like $14,000. Like, low, okay? No paved roads in the 80s. Certain parts, people have no running water. I saw a picture my cousin posted up of a guy. He was living in like a trailer, like on the back of a truck. It's like not a single wide, not a double wide, but like I don't know how to explain it. You ever see you all where they have the little trailers in the back of your car you can bring a little smaller? You living in that. Yeah, something like that. And that's not even uncommon. I remember one time I was in West Virginia going back home, and it was, I think it was McDonald's had the McRib. And they were giving away McRibs. I was McRib.
Love the McRib.
I think they were giving away one McRib per person lying down the street, out on the interstate. One McRib. It's bad. It's bad. But people can still leave. People can still have other opportunities. People can still become somebody. Even coming from that kind of environment, other parts of the world really don't have that type of ability to do that. So that's why the American dream means so much to me. I think that people need to kind of get a reality check, need to travel a little bit, go around the country. You know, if you're living in New York City your whole life, Chicago, big cities, and you're used to seeing all glitz and glamour and everything like that, you don't understand how others live. Come watch Virginia with me. Come watch Virginia with me, and I'll show you some stuff. I'll show you back to Holler. I'll show you some of the back in the crib. I'll show you some of that. You'll be like, wow, people live like this? Yeah, and it is what it is. You know, fishing from the river, taking the bath. People live like that still. Not right now, 2023. But you would never know because you're in America. You would never know that. You can go right down the street from that and you see opulence. It's not that way all around the world. So that's pretty much what the American dream means to me. I don't know if I got too much more to add. I think I can take questions.
So we've got 13 minutes until Santa right around starts.
Okay.
We do questions, and then just we can kind of migrate into our own group. Yeah.
All right. So thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Any questions?
I wish Boomhauer was here. He had all
No,
kinds of
Boomhauer, what do you got?
My man.
I really like how you have put the American dream in a positive sense. How would you relate that to, or is it even possible to relate that to sections of America who don't feel that?
You just gotta talk to them. Really, that's the main thing. Because I come from that kind of section, and I don't know. I had to just see it for myself. You can talk to people about certain things, but you gotta show it to them as well. You gotta show them other parts of the world. That's probably the best way. For me, when I was a young man, if I saw how others lived around the world and then compared it to how I was living, I would kind of understand. Like if I'm going to one of these inner city low income areas and you see some of the crime and the violence going on, it's like, okay, look over here in China where people are literally digging in this dirty water trying to get something to eat. Like, look at that. And it's not even necessarily, that's like middle of the road for China. You may see some of the bright lights and whatnot from Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong. You may see some of that, but look at how the regular people live. It's much worse. People don't understand the human condition, the world condition. So you gotta show them that. You can tell them, talk to them, preach to them, but show videos, pictures, testimony. There's a young lady from North Korea. I forget her name. You guys know what I'm talking about. She escaped. Yeah. Like, listen to what she says and then see where she came from. Talking about North Korea, where they're literally like eating dirt. Like, I've never seen anybody over here have to eat a pile of dirt to be able to sustain themselves. Where people can see that, and it's not just the white man, because they'll talk about, oh, whiteness. No, you in certain parts of Europe, it's like that too. Very, very poor. Go to some of the Balkan places, go over to some parts of Russia, it's rough. Show them the way the whole world lives. Show them the human condition and explain it to them, then they might be able to get it. They might not get it right at that moment, but let it marinate. Just drop it off, let it marinate, and then you come back to them, and they may change their mind.
I have two questions. What was your first job, like ever? And then what got you into podcasting and doing what you do right now?
All right, my first job ever, what did I do? I worked at, Sam's Club.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out Sam's Club.
Shout out Sam's Club. I did the carts, pulled the carts.
Yes.
Loading up trucks and stuff like that. Then I worked at Garden Ridge, which is like a at home or some kind of garden center place. Did the same thing. And then Old Country Buffet for about 5 years.
Oh man. That's back in the day, yes.
Yeah, I was in the back washing dishes. I did everything in the back. Clean the toilets, wash dishes, then I got onto the cook line and everything. So I did a little bit of everything. And then to your next question about how I got into podcasting, I was just trying to find a guy like me that I could relate to on YouTube.
Wow.
Back in like 2014, 2015, I had a blog before, and I would just write about what was going on, but I didn't do any video.
Okay.
And then at a certain point, I had a BlackBerry, old school BlackBerry Curve.
Yep.
And I was talking to myself in the BlackBerry, just making videos basically like voice notes. So if you go back to some of my old videos, it's just voice and pictures. So I took stuff from my BlackBerry phone and put it on my old iMac I had from like 2009, and then I just made videos that way. So when guys ask me about trying to start, and they try to get all this equipment, well, I gotta get this and that, it's like, nah, I had my BlackBerry, literally, that's it. And pictures from the internet, I would go on Google and take pictures and put them on a slideshow with iMovie.
Oh my God.
Nothing fancy.
Awesome.
An apartment back in Virginia, kind of in the hood little area. That's how I started, and I just kind of built from there. But you got a cell phone, you got the whole studio right there.
That's awesome.
Do you play any musical instruments, and like what do you do with your spare time when you're not doing podcasts and then working hard doing that stuff?
I don't play musical instruments. When I my spare time, I like video games, I like traveling, I like working out, I like just being able to have fun, being able to go places like this. That's what I really enjoy doing in my spare time. Just being able to kind of move around and see things. That's what I like to do.
What made you choose your path? If you grew up in the hood, what made you not become the hood, and to take that path to go down the Chicago route that we're living in today, and now we're standing here looking at you in Nashville, Tennessee. So what made you choose this path?
What made me choose this path? Because, well, a quick story. So my dad had two brothers. My oldest Uncle Johnson, he died when I was like about 5 or 6. But he was in the street like heavy. You guys ever seen The Wire?
Yeah.
You familiar with Omar? That was my uncle.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the LGBT, but also will kill you. That was him. So he was into everything, the drugs, the crazy lifestyle. And he died when I was a little boy. He had HIV, AIDS, but he was heading down that direction anyway. He was like 36 years old. So throughout my whole life, I would hear about stories about Uncle Johnson from Dad and everybody. They would always talk about him, so it scared me. It's like, I'm not trying to be dead, because I remember the funeral. I was about 5 years old, and I've been to about 20 funerals in my life, but this one was crazy because I can kind of remember it, like from an out-of-body experience. You ever have one of those, you can kind of look at yourself? So I'm about 5 years old, and I got like a straight face. I don't know what's going on in the funeral. I'm seeing behind me, everybody's crying tears. Normally, when I go to a funeral, it's not like that. It's more kind of like a family reunion, unfortunately. But today, everybody breaking down crying. I couldn't understand why everybody was like that. But as I got older, and I heard some of the stories about how everybody loved them, went down a direction, it was the same thing for me. Everybody loved Anthony, everybody wanted to see me come around. So I didn't want to disappoint people, and I didn't want to just live that life. I wanted to be the good kid, get into the books, get into the education. That's what I wanted for myself. But that's what I was talking about earlier about one man asked me, he was like, well, how can you tell people in these environments about that? You got to show it to them. For me, when I saw it was a funeral with 100 people crying behind me, and I'm confused why, and then I got told. But I had to get shown first, then told. It had to impact me from my sight, from seeing it. So that's the reason why I didn't go down the hood path.
What made you choose Tennessee?
Okay, so I was married before and she's from here. And before I was in Virginia, before I got married, I was gonna move anyway. I told her that. I was like, where I move will be, it needs to be a good reason. And it was a good reason. And I feel like Tennessee, it's a good place to be. I don't see myself leaving no time soon.
It's,
no
it's the best.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone wants to move here.
Exactly. Everybody. So it's like, I'm all right. I'm just stay where I'm at.
Yep.
No state income tax. A lot of freedom. I got my guns.
Yes.
It's all good.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right on. So I guess that's about it. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Great job.
here. In a few minutes, some people start playing. There's a singer-songwriter right after this, so we can stick around, listen to them. The patio is also open, so we can move out to the patio, whatever y'all want to do. But definitely stick around, talk to each other, because these are like-minded. We should get to know each other. We should make a point to do this.
Yes.
Because it's very important coming up in this next election that we all stick together.
Woo!
So,
True that.
I should have asked him who he was voting for.
What'd you say? What'd you
I
say?
should have asked him who he was voting for. Put him on the spot.
Hey, is everybody still on the show?
Yeah, they're still on.
What up, SC? Don't show my face.
No, I'll try to change the camera. What's up, guys? ABL came to see us in Nashville. What up, what up, what up, everybody? Impromptu. Yeah, he's right here next to me. Boomhauer's right here. Mrs. Boomhauer's right here. I said Mrs. Boomhauer.
Shout me out. Yeah, you can. I look hot.
SC Wolverine said, what's up? Krabby Turtle said, what's up?
Let me go in. Oh, there goes ABL.
What are you trying to do with it again?
I was gonna say, let me go in and have a say what's up there about it. Go ahead and throw my face on it.
Do you want to throw your face in there?
Yeah, she said you want to do it too. What's up, y'all? It's Boom Boom Boom. How y'all doing, man? What's up, SC? What's up, Krabby Turtle? I see you, man. Noel Garcia in the house. Hey, y'all want? This is Mrs. Boomhauer. You want to meet her? Here she is.
The crazy that keeps it all together.
Yeah,
Mrs. Boom Boom Boomhauer right here.
She's the wrong to my right. You understand me?
Oh, Fonzie's in there. What's up, Fonz?
Alphonse is in there now.
Fonz is in there. I can't do the chat myself, so. Yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Kind of impromptu. I didn't even know he was going to be doing that. Huh? Oh, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's crazy as hell. Did anybody have any questions for ABL? Should I got him to ask y'all so I can ask him questions? All right, guys, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Thanks for showing up. I will see y'all later. I don't know if I'll have a live stream later on tonight or not, but I appreciate y'all being here. Peace out.